What's the deal? This is Brian.
T.
And this is JegnaTalk for you by you on JEGNAFEST World Radio.
The number one teen show in the Midwest, broadcasting on 152 radio stations globally.
And today we're here interviewing
Coach O'Neal.
And the first question I have for you, Coach, is if you could have dinner with any coach, past or present, who would it be and why?
Any coach? Man, it's tough because I have two favorites. But I'll go with Pete Carroll, man. Pete Carroll was kind of one of those coaches where, when I decided to get into coaching, he was one of those guys that I wanted to kind of emulate in the sense of, and not in the sense of his style of coaching, but in the sense of his philosophy, how he approaches athletes, and just how he approaches the game.
What's a favorite childhood memory involving your parents or grandparents?
Favorite childhood memory, man, would be, I'm a football guy, so everything's going to be football related. So it would be my junior year of high school. In the fourth round of the playoffs in Texas, I scored 4 touchdowns in the playoffs to send my teams to the next round, to the fourth round versus Angleton. That was a special moment, one, because that was the furthest my high school personally went. Two, my mom and parents were always at the game, but my grandparents was there, and I can remember after that game when we won, I remember jumping into the stands and going all the way up to the top of the stands and hugging my grandma, just because, like I said, it was just a historic moment for the program, for our city, and just for me and my parents in general.
So, can you tell us where you were born and what was it like growing up in your hometown?
All right, so I was born in Houston, Texas. I lived there for 8 years. I was there till I was about 8. And then my mom met her boyfriend, my now, I don't like calling him stepdad, but my pops. And we ended up moving to Beaumont, Texas. So I was in Beaumont, Texas for the rest of that childhood, all the way into adulthood until I got to college. Beaumont is like 75 miles east of Houston. It's like going towards the Louisiana border.
Where's someone like an uncle, coach, grandparent who influenced you to pursue sports or coaching?
Sports-wise, in Texas, man, I know everybody get to kind of hear how Texas is when it comes to football. But I kind of use my life of how I grew up in a assimilation of Billingsley off the movie Friday Night Lights. So if you can envision how aggressive his dad was and how serious his dad was when it came to football and being the best football player, that's how my stepdad was, my pops was growing up. So it was kind of one of those deals where, I was kind of pushed into the game because at first I didn't know I was going to be a good football player. It was just one of those things of, I was a late bloomer in the sense of how the game goes down in Texas. So, but he kind of pushed me to the game, and then, once I kind of found my footing and found myself into it, I exploded from there, and then took the love of the game from that small standpoint to a large scale.
So, what schools did you attend during elementary, middle, and high school?
So elementary, I attended Martin Elementary in Beaumont, Texas. Middle school, I attended Martin Luther King, MLK, Martin Luther King Middle School. That was in the south side of Beaumont. And then high school, I went to the best high school in Beaumont, Texas, Central Medical Magnet High School.
How was your experience there?
High school?
Yeah.
Man, nothing new under the sun when it comes to high school stuff, man. My first 2 years, though, it was one of those trying to figure out who I was, who I wanted to be. I wasn't a football kid then. My freshman year, I played football, but I was, like I said, I was a late bloomer, so I didn't start. I barely got playing time. I think I only played, your general kids who get the special teams. I was only on kickoff, and then after that, sat for the rest of the game and watched. Sophomore year, it's still kind of the same deal. And then that all changed, man, going into my junior year when we had spring ball, and this coach named Coach Waters came in, and he gave me opportunity, man. And once he gave me opportunity, this little undersized guy who nobody knew was going to do anything, man. And I just took that, ran with it, and I made a major name for myself when it came in the game of football.
How did your athletic journey lead you to college, and what sports did you play?
Like I said, in high school, late bloomer, didn't pop up or really didn't come onto the scene until my junior year of high school. Like I said, Coach Waters was kind of my inspiration on the game, or giving me the opportunity to show my skills of the game. He was there for my junior year. Like I said, my junior year, man, we went the furthest in school history and everything. So, I just freaking. It was just one of those things, man. Once I got into the game that junior year and kind of amplified myself, after that, it was all about how bad do you want it, how far you want to go into this deal. And like I said, down in Texas, man, everybody has the opportunity to be a great athlete. It's not one of those things where you need money to go to this camp or stuff like that. So it's just really, if you can play ball, these coaches want to see how good you can play. So, like I said, man, I just took every opportunity that was given to me, given to the fact that I was already an undersized kid. So I had that, I guess they would call it short man syndrome, where I just had that prove it mentality. And I just wanted to prove it to everybody that I can play in this game at a high level. So, it was a blessing on the opportunities I had with all the guys, all the coaches who coached me. But like I said, man, junior year it started off as a banger, and then senior year I just made myself nationally known.
So, what degree or degrees did you earn at a Missouri Valley College and Fort Hays State University, and how have they helped your coaching career?
So, my first degree, my undergrad, Missouri Valley, I received an exercise science. So basically that degree, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I changed my major 4 or 5 times in college. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, and for those of you out there who are on their verge to going to college, man, there's nothing wrong with changing your major until you figure out what exactly you're good at. So my deal was, like I said, I changed my major 4 or 5 times in college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But then I finally sat myself down and was like, man, all I know is football. Football has been my life. So how can I stay close to this game and kind of make my career part of this game? So the exercise science deal was from my advisors. They were stating that, with that degree, I had a multitude of things I can do. I can be a personal trainer, fitness trainer. I can be a coach or a teacher. So that kind of played into the field for me. So I graduated with that with my undergrad exercise science, and then the next degree I actually achieved was from the University of Missouri, and that was my first master's. I got that. That was Masters of Education under emphasis of positive coaching, and this program and this degree, I would say, helped me out of all the other 2 degrees I had. One, I would say when I first got into the game of coaching, man, I viewed the game was just about winning and losing. It wasn't about the development of the student athlete. It wasn't about the development of the IQ of the player in the game and helping them find a love for the game. So at that time, at a young stage of my coaching career, it was all about either you win or you lose. So once I got into this master's program, was basically I kind of give it under the umbrella of sports psychology. Which really that's what it is. My professor, man, and this guy, and I like giving him kudos every time I get a chance to do talk shows and stuff like that, but his name was Dr. Orr. Dr. Orr was the head wrestling coach for Mizzou at the time. And at that time when I was in his class, they actually won a national championship. So the great thing about this guy, man, when he asks you questions about the development of the student athlete or development of the athlete, it wasn't just no simple question on, like for example, he'll ask, if an athlete was to hurt themselves, how can you help them come back and not worry about re-injuring themselves and playing at a high level? Well, a person who's not thinking and just want a quick answer, say, well, I'll just put them through training, let them get stronger, and then hope for the best. He wouldn't take that. He'll make you peel the onions back all the way down to the final layer and really understand that you have to dig deep into the mindset of the athlete. And I would say that that program helped me understand that this game is bigger than just winning and losing. It's about the players, it's about how they feel, how they can adapt with their moment, their competitive level, just the whole aspect of the mindset of the student athlete. And which, just to piggyback off, that's why I appreciate, and Pete Carroll's one of my favorite coaches, because that's what he based his coaching off, was the mindset of the athlete. Now, my last master's, I got that from Fort Hays, and that was just physical education. And the reason why I got that, guys, and just give you a little personal about myself, I was married once, went through a divorce, and, I had to take a step back from coaching, take a step back from everything and kind of get myself together. So I went back to school, got another master's. I wanted to be a teacher and a coach, and I understood that, you need your teaching license and stuff like that. So that's why I ended up getting a physical education degree. So really the first 2 were based around football, and that last one was based around my career, which is teaching.
Do you have any playing career perhaps in college or beyond, and what did that teach you?
Man, a lot of playing career. So high school-wise, when I finished high school, I was a 2-star nationally ranked running back on Rivals, the real stars, as guys out here like to talk about. I actually had 2 stars. I was a high excel athlete then. Like I said, along with that, I also wrestled, and I made it. I think I wrestled 2 years, my junior and senior year. No experience at all of wrestling. I was just an athlete. My first year, I came close to the state championship. I lost it by one match. And then the next year, my senior year, I didn't make it to regionals, but I did beat the guy who was #1 ranked in the state. His last name, and I still remember this guy because he had the craziest last name. His last name was Buckmaster. It was a swole white dude, I swear, man. And he was the #1 ranked guy in the state of Texas out of high school for wrestling. And I got him his last meet. The first time I wrestled him, he gave me a black eye. But I'm happy I got, oh, yeah, it's real down there. But the last time we wrestled, I beat him in the biggest moment, man, and kind of ended his career before he went off to college. And then the last thing I did, I also ran track. I ran the 100-meter dash. I ran the 4x2. I ran the 4x1. I ran the 4x2 and the 4x4. My junior year, that was kind of, I want to say that was the highlight of of my peak experience in athleticism, just because I played with a lot of guys who were 4- and 5-star athletes. Charlie Thomas, who played for Texas A&M, Victor Splites, who played for Utah, William Jones, who played for Lamar University, Jacoby Hill, who played for Utah University. I played with a bunch of 5-star and against a bunch of 5-star guys who are also in the league right now. But anyway, like I said, man, I ran track. Junior year, we went to state in Texas for the 4x2. Almost waited to state in the 4x1. Kind of got screwed out of the deal in the regionals. But yeah, man, I had like I said, I had a hell of a athletic career. Got to that was just high school. When I got to college, ran track in college. As a true freshman, I went to the nationals in NAIA for the 60-meter dash. In football, I was the newcomer of the year. I led the nation in kick return yardage with 49.9 yards a kick return. I had a really good freshman year, and then going into my sophomore year, I led the team in rushing. I was the #2 back. My best friend was the #1 back. Me and him was a tandem, but I led the team in rushing. I led them in rushing touchdown, and when I finished my playing career in college, I also recently just found out I made the record books, as I also made second team all conference for football. So. Man, I was a great athlete, man. As being undersized as I was, man, I didn't let that kind of judge me on how my play was. My play was big. And far as, life-wise and how did it help me with life, man, I even teach my boys this, man. I'm a competitor. I coach competitiveness. I feel like life is all about competition. Everything, and anybody can give me a run for that battle and debate. But I feel like everything you do in life is going to lead to competition, whether it's competing for a girlfriend, competing for a job, competing for this house, a new car. You're going to compete against someone to try to achieve something. So why not push yourself to be the best?
So you've coached at school like Highland Park, Jasper High School, Winnetoka, and F.L. Schlegel High School before Harmon. How did each experience shape who you are now?
I also coached at Missouri Valley College. That was the start of my coaching career. I was a grad assistant there. I was also the running back coach. They gave me the foundation of football. So I learned the game. Like I tell you, I was blessed enough to learn football at a high level at a very young age in coaching. I was only 18, 19 at the time. And my coaches at college trusted me with everything that I was doing. So when I became the grad assistant, along with that, they made me the full-time running back coach. So I had all responsibilities of depth chart responsibilities, recruiting, and stuff like that. I didn't go out and recruit. I recruit over phone, but at least had that experience to see how that feel like. So, and then they also taught me the X's and O's of the game at a more advanced level than your normal young adult at that age. So that gave me the foundation. Once I got that foundation, man, I took off running, and I knew I wanted to coach this game, coaching this game. I knew I wanted to be. I tell everybody, at some point when you play football, the game will tell you, and in any sport, the game will tell you when it's time to hang it up. It is what it is. But when you become a coach, you now have control on when you want to hang the game up. So I was blessed enough to have that opportunity. But anyway, so after I left Missouri Valley College, man, I went to Highland Park, and that was my first experience of high school coaching. Now, Highland Park wasn't that good like they are right now recently. They was kind of on the same level as my football team was growing. Was a building program. But I was working under a coach who was from Western Kansas. He just moved to this part of the area, so he was new to the city life, and he was so accustomed to 8-man football. So with me being so advanced to the game, man, I kind of, when you know certain things, you kind of get that little, I don't know, that obnoxious kind of deal where you think you know more than some guys, and that wasn't the vibe I wanted to put out. But I know this game, so I challenged him on certain things. Only lasted a year there, in Highland Park, and I ended up getting offered. Well, I got offered the opportunity to go coach with my old office coordinator, Coach Waters, the guy who gave me the opportunity from the jump in high school. He was coaching in freaking Humble, Texas, or somewhere around that range. I might be lying on the name, but it's somewhere in the Dallas area. So anyway, like I said, down there, Texas, man, when it comes to coaching, I learned when I got into that business that it's like college coaching in Texas. Like, I didn't talk to, like, your normal teachers. They talk to HR people and stuff like that. I had to go through the superintendent and the athletic director, and that's how I got hired. But anyway, my coach, Coach Waters, helped me get the job in Jasper. I went down there, which Jasper is only an hour away from my own hometown, so it was kind of a good deal to be that close to home. Jasper taught me how to coach high excel athletes. I mean, the coach there, Coach Barbe, I think he's coaching Louisiana now. I actually stole my no X mentality. I stole that from his program. Now, when I got there, they will say no X, and they'll have the whole deal of no quitting, no excuses, no defeat. I took that and I just put no X mentality on it. I kind of have my twist of it, but when I got there, man, their philosophy kind of stuck with me, and I wanted to make it my own. So did that for a year. We went all the way to the 5th round in the playoffs, one game away from state championship. Fun fact, the guy we played in the state championship was Art Browse. He was the head coach of Baylor, and I think after that game, I think he got the promotion to be the head coach of Baylor, and he coached RG3 and all those guys. So I've been around a lot of guys, man. So did that, and then, like I said, I decided to come back up here to Missouri. Initially, I was going to be a middle school head coach, but like I told everybody when I talked to the coaches, I'm a high school or college guy. I don't do middle school. So I got the Winnetonka job, man, and that was the first job that I think they kind of taught me how to coach kids in a lower program standard, and I just had to figure that part out. And then, like I said, I took a break from that, went through my divorce, and then got back into the game when I got to KCK and became the offensive coordinator at Schlegel for 3 years, and then transitioned here to Harmon.
You think how did you feel? Like, did you think Schlegel was better than Harmon?
This is what I tell my boys, man, and I'm a straight shooter. So Schlegel has more, and here's the demographics of what since I've been in Wyandotte County. Washington have more of the athletes in the city. Schlegel is kind of like the second tier to that. And then it's a fight now between Sumner and then us and Wyandotte at the end. So Schlegel definitely had some better athletes. And when I was there, I actually had my first All-State running back, Jalen Richardson. He was getting recruited by KU. He ended up going to Concordia. So he was my first All-State player when I was offensive coordinator. Man, we had some good kids there. Along with that, we also had, good thing I didn't forget his name, the next best man, Jordan Scruggs. If you guys don't know who Jordan Scruggs is, he just finished his season as a starting cornerback for West Virginia this year. So, I had some good guys when I was coaching as offensive coordinator there. But overall, yes, Schlegel do have a little bit more talented guys, man. We got to be real here.
That's the first good thing I heard about Schlegel, because over here, we got.
It's always Washington now.
But no, you can't. Schlegel now is it's just a fashion school.
Schlegel now I can't really tell you, man. Like I said, I'll be so focused on trying to build Harmon and make them something, make them at least get noticed. That I still have love for Schlegel because that was the first school I coached at when I came to Wyandotte County. So I can't really tell you from a blind eye what they're doing. But when I was there those 3 years, man, it was a good 3 years. We won some games. It was a good experience, man.
What did you learn as an offensive coordinator before becoming a head coach?
What did I learn?
Yeah.
How did I get my offensive coordinator skills? I would say I learned most of my foundation of the game came from college. Like I said, I was on the offensive side of the ball in college. I played running back for the college. So their offense, which was a pistol-style offense, was kind of what I started off with as my own. And then as I progressed into my own version of man and my own version of coaching, I took a plethora of combination of coaches from not only what I did at Valley, but I took some of Chip Kelly's offensive schemes when he was at Oregon with LaMichael James, with DeAnthony Thomas, Marcus Mariota. And then I also had a little bit of things I'd stolen from Charlie Strong when he was with University of Texas, which is my favorite college, by the way, and as well as the stuff that he did at the University of South Florida. And then the last guy, man, and this is another one of my favorite coaches, Urban Myers, man. Urban Myers is another one of the offensive guys that I kind of built my offensive knowledge off of, just off of how he runs the pistol offense, especially the time he had not at Florida. Florida, he had a lot of great athletes. Just a side quiz, I like to do this. Tim Tebow is not the best quarterback in college football history. I just want to say that and put that on record so I can start a debate. But Urban Myers is one of, I heard somebody feeling with that one. But Urban Myers is another one of the coaches who I learned offensive schemes and concepts from when he was at Ohio State with our boy, his name Ezekiel Elliott. Sorry, his name almost slipped my head. When he had that class of guys and the duo run scheme, the power run scheme, and the RPO stuff that they did. So a lot of combination of different coaches, man, kind of created who I am now, and I just kind of put my spin on it.
So what drew you to head to coach role at J.C. Harmon High School in June 2020? Say
it again? I'm sorry.
So what drew you to the head coach role at J.C. Harmon High School in June 2022?
What did I bring? What did you say?
No.
I didn't.
What drew you to the head coach role?
Oh, what drew me? Oh, my bad. I didn't get that word, bro. What drew me there? To be honest with you guys, I wanted to be a head coach. I wanted to be a head coach bad. I felt like my time has came. I felt like I had enough leadership skills, leadership qualities, and everything to be a leader of men. I don't want to just and I even tell my boys this, man, when I talk about football, it's not just about the game to me, all right? The game helps create this relationship I have with these young men who I coach, but this game also teaches you, again, leads back to the competitive nature of life. So the game, like I said, the game is just a blessing way for me to help build young men, but I always focus on the life aspect of what they're going to do after they're done playing ball. That's what's more important to me. So I don't know if I answered the question, but to draw it back, man, like I said, I wanted to be a head coach. There wasn't any opportunities at the time to take over Schlegel at the time. I think someone already took over that role, and they at the time they didn't pick me, really what it was, and I understood why. I wasn't a head coach. I didn't have any head coach experience, and a lot of people in the city didn't know who I was or if I could be a head coach. So Harmon was one of those deals where it was one of those I wanted to go there and prove to them that I can take over a program that no one wanted. Like literally when I applied for the job, guys, no one wanted to go to Harmon because they didn't think Harmon was nothing. When I took the job for Harmon, no one thought I can do all the things I've done with Harmon. No one thought I could even do those things. Like it was just one of those things they just didn't believe. And like I said, I have so much strong beliefs in my coaching. I have so much strong beliefs in who I am as a leader of men that I said I remember I called the principal, who was Mrs. Carter at the time. I remember I called her and I told her, Ms. Carter, you know who I am. You know how I feel about football. I can literally come to your school and change that program and change that school. And those were my exact words.
You think in a couple years you'll get Harmon up in the ranks?
It's a lot more deals that that goes into the aspect of winning football. A lot of people think winning is easy, man. It's not. Winning is the most hardest thing you have to do because not only once you win, you have to be consistent with it. So when it comes to me, I'm going to always be original who I am. I'm going to always bring the same fire as a coach every year. It's upon those kids in that community. And that's one thing that I've been expressing since I've been there. Harmon community hasn't been a football community. Harmon community, when it comes to Harmon sports, has been on the down for a long time. And I was just explaining to your guy over there that it took me 4 years to get the stadium packed out at least have fans in the stadium where it feels and look like football atmosphere. So once I get that community fully bought in that we're not just a soccer school and we're an athletic school, we're a multi-sport school, then that's when the kids are buying and I think then the consistent winning will come after that. Right now it's baby steps.
How did the no X mentality motto come about, and what does it mean to you and the team?
So like I stated before, man, the original no X, I stole that from Jasper. I stole it from Coach Barbe. So I always give credit to him whenever I'm asked about this philosophy. Now, the no X mentality. I'll tell you how I created this no X mentality. So along with Barbay's no X deal in Jasper, there was this coach named Keith Williams. He was the Nebraska wide receiver coach at the time. He trained a lot of the top wide receivers in the NFL. I think he coaches in the NFL now. But he had something when I was trying to figure out who I wanted to be as a coach. He had something called savage professionalism. So basically, you're a savage and you do everything savagely, but you do it in the most professional way. So when I was a young coach, man, that was when I coached guys. That's one thing I always said: savage professionalism. Basically, stealing his mantra. And at the time, I didn't like it, so I had to figure out what I wanted as my own standard of philosophy. So that's where the no X came in, and then the savage professionalism came in, because both of those things spoke to me. Both of those philosophies kind of felt like they were saying they were me when I yelled those things. So I took the no X philosophy, and I just created a no X mentality, because like how I preach to the guys, it's not just a philosophy, it's a lifestyle. The main things of the philosophy is no quitting, no excuses, no defeat. But my biggest things in that whole aspect of philosophy, and the one I always talk about is, one, always challenge the challenge, and two, always embrace critique. As men, as young athletes, and as young adults, it seems to be critique or taking criticism seems to be the struggle. So those are the things that I push to my young men and my young athletes, no matter if they play football for me or if they're in my weight room or if they're just playing any other sports. Man, I'm a coach full throttle. So I coach my boys, I coach other athletes if they're around me and they know my expectations when it comes to athletics.
So you launched the Dotte 500 7v7 and the I-70 padded camp. What impact have they had?
Man, the Dotte 500 has been a major success. The padded camp has been a major success since I started. The one impact it did was it brought your suburban high schools and all those schools that's outside of Wyandotte County, it brought them in here. And that was one thing that I wanted to do. Since I've been in Wyandotte County, all I've heard, I sat back and listened. There's one thing, I'm aware of my surroundings. So as an assistant coach at the time, I just listened to all the things that the city complained what they didn't have and what they wanted. So when I was able to take over the reins and have my own leadership and have my program, that was something that I wanted to do. And that's something that I preach no matter where I go when I talk ball is. I want to build Harmon football, but my overall goal is building Wyandotte football as a total. I want as many as you kids to be successful as possible. So I made the 7-on-7 deal, one, to help with passing. Since I've been here in KCK, the one thing that everybody know how to do so well but can't do anything else is throw a go ball. Nobody know how to throw real concepts, a slant flat, a dig curl, or something in that fashion, or a post corner, anything. They don't know real concepts. So creating a 7-on-7 league gives them the opportunity to strip away tackling everything and focus on the IQ of the game, running real concepts, helping your quarterback read coverages, helping your receivers know how to find those missing gaps on the field and how to find those holes for when your quarterback is scrambling and stuff like that. Now the I-70 padded camp, that was me amplifying the 7-on-7. Now I'm putting you have an opportunity to run your own plays, but I'm bringing in college recruiters. Now these recruiters can see you running real football stuff, and you get an early jump on getting recruited. The reason why I did that, because one thing I also noticed with being in Wyandotte County is once football season starts, man, your suburban leagues take over all the attention in Kansas. So all the colleges that do come, whether it be small JUCO or your Division Ones, they're going to Overland Parks, they're going to Shawnees, they're going to Mill Valleys, they're going to all these places when the season. Even in basketball and track, they will go to these suburban schools first before they come out here to Wyandotte County. So what I did was I created an atmosphere where I'm forcing you to come in here, and I'm bringing these suburban schools out here with you. So now you can see that these urban kids can play ball too. They just need the exposure. And that's the one thing I'm big about. The more exposure you get, the more opportunity you kids have to get out of this community.
How did it feel breaking the 1800s day losing streak in September?
Man, hey, now I'll tell you this, man, that felt freaking amazing, man. For the school to have a losing streak for so long, man, and for them to get their first win and in the fashion they got their first win, for me as a coach, it felt like all the work that I put in to change this program finally came to a head. And to win with 52 points on the board, have the second most points scored in school history, that was a beautiful thing. We was one way close from a shutout, which we would have had the best point margin average, margin average, excuse me, that for the school history. We had the second largest margin. So that year was a great deal, man. But the ultimate deal was just one, allowing those boys to see what it feels like to be a winner. Most of those kids, man, never won anything in their life until they came across me, you know. And for me, it taught me patience, because my entire playing life, I've always won. I've won championships. I've won individual accolades and stuff in that fashion. So to take over a team that didn't know what winning felt like, all they knew was accustomed to was losing, and they was adapted to losing. I wanted to break that spirit hard. So when we beat Maranatha, man, I'm not gonna lie, I cried because I was so proud of, not only I was proud of those young men, but for a day or for a weekend, like I told them when we broke that huddle, for a weekend, we own the city. Everybody's going to be worrying about Harmon football and how they won that first game in 2,000 days, if you want to just round it up. But everybody, and that's how it was, man. Everybody Harmon football was the best football program in the city that weekend when we won that first game. And that was the best feeling to ever have, not only just as a coach, just strip the coaching away, but say if I was a parent for one of those kids, and just to see the happiness and the joy and the feeling of success for the first time they was considered a winner, man. That was a beautiful thing, just as a human being, to see young adults achieve that greatness.
So what was the mindset shift that led to that win?
Man, the one thing I told my guys, man, there's three phases to the game of football, and this is something I learned from my buddy of mine, I was his assistant coach at Schlegel when I was coaching basketball, Coach Gio Lyons, and he always said that, you know, there's three phases of the game where, you know, you'll probably win or lose. He said the first phase is when you get off the bus. When you get off the bus, everybody's going to look at both players are going to look at each other. So when we came into the game, first thing I saw that they didn't have a large team. And then the second thing, I mean, like I said, I've averaged 60 kids since I've been the head coach there, which before I became the head coach at Harmon, they only had about 20, 25. So to see us, two buses, I think we had three buses deep coming off for a high school game, that was uncommon and unnormal for everybody on that day. So we won the eye test because we had size versus those guys and we had numbers. Then the second phase is how you warm up. So if you play basketball, guys, this is something that basketball coaches talk about. So it's the eye test first, then your warm up. So that's when the coaches tell you to be locked in on warm ups, as far as the layup drills and stuff like that. The players and the coaches are watching. They're looking to see how organized you are, and that's one thing that we was big on. So we came out, our warm ups was good. We, like, the kids felt good, and the one thing I like to say, that it was blood in the water. So if there's blood in the water, go hunt. And like I said, when the game started, we was in a football game at first because the boys didn't know how it was going to come out. But I think when we scored that first touchdown, it took off from there, and they believed in themselves for the first time, and you can say in a long time, man. And that's why they were able to have a successful game that game.
No, they seem they can do better.
Man, yes, for sure. They finally felt like they were competitors.
What's one coaching memory from your career that inspires you?
One memory from one coaching memory?
Yeah.
That inspired me. I'll say losing Jamarcus Lane. Losing that young man, that inspired me to push myself to help as many of you young men in this city get out of here and see the world for really what it is. Like I say, I understand how KCK is. I've been here long enough to know it's a real world out here, man. These young adults, some of them are doing adult stuff not because they want to, because they have to survive. So when I met that young man, like I said, I know he was surviving, and obviously the streets will take you if you live in the streets for long enough. So when I lost him, man, it hurt me. It broke me for a good few months, man. I cried every day as if he was my own child. I was really hurt. So after I lost him, I made a commitment that I was going to do everything I can to try to save as many kids as I can here. So after he passed, I ended up helped creating the Bill for Black Excellence mentoring program, where the principal at Schlegel, me and him was the co-founders. We was taking kids on freaking college tours over the summer. We took kids from here all the way to St. Louis visiting colleges, not as athletes, just as regular kids able to travel and see what a college atmosphere looked like, what a college experience looked like. So I went full throttle in trying to save the city, man. And I understand the city doesn't need saved, but I feel like I'm one of those who want to save, and I'm gonna do everything I can to save, and just help as many young adults as I possibly can, man.
So, have you faced any barriers, personal, professional, or community related, and how did you overcome them?
So I would say the first barrier I had to face was, like I stated, I had a divorce. And one thing about that divorce, man, and this is something I've realized, a lot of men who go through divorce are not here today. Most of them, because of mental situations and stuff, and because how heavy divorce was, they end up committing suicide or something. They do something crazy. So with my situation, man, I realized that I was stronger than I thought I was. And competition really helped me with that. Football really helped me with that. The coaches who were my mentor helped me with that. And basically, my kids helped me with that, because when I was at my lowest point, the first thing I remember telling myself when I reached that rock bottom was, you're not a failure. You're not a loser. You didn't come this far to come this far. You're meant for something here. We just got to figure that bad boy out. So the first thing I did, man, when that clicked in my head, I'm going to give y'all a serious personal moment, man. I was like 220 pounds at the time, man. I was big. And the first thing I told myself, one, you're not going to be mentally together if you can't get yourself back in shape. I was always in shape. So the first thing I did was, and this was the major thing I told myself, no woman is going to want a short, bald, fat guy. So after I told myself that, man, the next day I got up and I lived on Troost. I'll give y'all the story. I lived on Troost, right across from UMKC. If you guys buy that Go Chicken Go, if y'all know what that is. I was right next door to the Go Chicken Go. I literally woke up the next morning, put on some gym shorts, and I just went running the city. And I went from 220 pounds to got back down to 189. And I got my mental back right. I fell in love with being a competitor again, and that's what shifted to who I am now.
How do you approach players' development physically, mentally, and academically?
So this is what I tell my guys, man. When it comes to football, bro, I even tell some of the coaches in other sports this. I don't consider a kid a college athlete yet until I can see they can read a playbook. So, because that's the number one deal when you get to the next level. A coach is going to hand you a playbook and say, that's yours. It's on you to learn it. They're not going to sit you down in the room and go through the certain plays. When I got to college, my playbook was probably like this thick, and I learned every page. I was a player's coach. I was a quarterback at running back, so I knew everybody's stuff from the quarterback down to my position. So, but when it comes to developing players, I'm big on IQ. I'm big on knowledge. What I tell my guys, and I told my guys this year, this reason why our success wasn't where we couldn't piggyback off the success we had last year, because I told them the way you act in the classroom, guys, is how you act on the field. So when you struggle in the classroom, you're going to struggle on the field. When you need to study, your study guide in the classroom helps you for the test, correct? Well, on the field, practice is your study guide. If we struggle in practice, when it comes to the game day where the test is the game, we fail the test because we didn't put enough effort and preparation into studying that opponent. Now this year, like I said, I had a bunch of young guys, so the learning and studying the game is still, we're still in that baby step phase. But when it comes to developing the guys, I always start from the mental first. Man, football or any sport you play it's 90% mental, 10% physical. The physical part that's the easy portion of the game. That's something you can wake up and go ride a bike. Once you learn how to ride a bike, you can wake up and do that with your eyes closed. But you can't study. A kid doesn't know what do I do when there's a two-high coverage, two-high safety, or versus a single high, or what I do when the cornerback is playing inside shade where the outside shade. So these are the things that I try to teach the guys. And my number one thing, and you can ask any of my guys here, man, I always say this: I'm going to give you the closest thing to a college experience than anywhere else. Because if you're blessed enough to go to the next level, then you will be easily adapted to it.
Any stories of athletes who've grown under your coaching, perhaps even gone on to college now?
I have a few. So, since I've been at Harmon, I put a total of 7 kids in college in my 4 years as the head coach there. Adahi Jimenez is probably the one that sticks out for me the most. Adahi was the first kid that I got to college. That was my first year where Harmon was, I would say that was probably my worst team because we averaged negative 36 yards in total offense. We gave up almost 3,000 yards in defense. And Adahi was a senior. He played 4 years of football there. His senior year was my first year there. But he played 4 years. He didn't know if he was going to play college ball. When I got to Harmon, his GPA was a 1.7 or 1.8, somewhere around that range. And like I said, man, I came in with this mantra that if you believe and if you buy into my philosophy and buy into everything that I'm saying, I'm going to help you get you out of here. I believe in my coach, and I believe I can get anybody. I can sell ice to an Eskimo. That's how good I am when it comes to recruiting, because I know this game and I know recruiting. I was blessed to be a college coach. I know what college coach recruiters want. So he stands out for me, just because, like I say, he had a low GPA. He played on a team where that was by far my worst football team out of the 4 years of here being in Harmon. And man, he was able to get his GPA from a 1.7 to a 2.0. I was able to get him a full scholarship to Sterling College in Sterling, Kansas, where I want to say his sophomore year, he ended up starting at guard. Now, because I keep up with all my guys, he has stepped down from football and he joined the Army, and now he's traveling the world in the Army, which I'm super proud of him for that. And then one more young man who's still in college now, Julian Bush. Julian Bush been with me for 3 years, excuse me. He was here when I came in, and Julian was already a smart young man in the classroom. Grades were great. He already had that dog mindset on the football field. He just needed a coach to come in and kind of help guide him to how to get to the next level. Julian is now still at St. Mary's. I believe he started his first year. Oh, no, he started last year finally at guard. And he's still in college and doing great things. And I have some other guys who are still in college, but those two stand out the most for me just because of how hard they work in the classroom as well as on the field, and as well as being great civilians in the real world, man. That's the major thing.
Well, y'all, that's all our time today with Coach Keith O'Neal. We appreciate it and thank you for sharing with us.
But before we go, Keith, please share your socials and where our listeners can find you.
You can follow me on Twitter at CoachO223. I'm on TikTok at WhySoSerious23. My TikToks, man, I mostly post video game stuff. I'm a gamer, so you'll see all that stuff and some of my kids, my 2 boys on there. But Instagram, Still O'Neal 23. I'll only add you if you're a student. You have to graduate. My rule. Adults, I'll add you guys, but students, you have to graduate first. That's just how I am. TikTok, though, and Twitter, those are free for everyone.
Well, this was your host, Brian.
T.
And this has been JegnaTalk for you by you on JegnaFest World Radio.
The #1 teen show in the Midwest, broadcasting on 152 radio stations globally.
We out here.
Blink on the beat.